Sally that girl in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally that girl in the kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to be making Fideos Fritos. What is that? They are translated into English as fried noodles. They are a Sephardic recipe that I learned from my mom, and it's basically what it sounds like. You take some noodles, fry them up a bit, give them a nice golden color, and then you cook them, and they are absolutely delicious. So let's not wait another second, and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need a 12-ounce bag of fideos, or thin noodles. I'm using the type that already comes broken up, but if you buy the type that comes twirled in a nest, then you'll have to break them up into small pieces. 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 32 ounces, or 4 cups, of chicken broth, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, half of a yellow onion, and half of a banana pepper. I am using the type of chicken broth that comes in a box, and it already contains sodium or salt. But if you happen to buy low sodium chicken broth, I would suggest adding half a teaspoon of salt to it. And of course, if you buy chicken broth that doesn't have any sodium at all, then probably about a teaspoon of salt will do. To prepare this recipe, you will need a large pot with a lid. Use a pot that is larger than what you think you need because you want a wide pot with plenty of surface area at the bottom. You will also need a large fork, and I like to use a Pyrex measuring cup because it makes it easier to pour in my broth, but you can pour it in, of course, directly from the box. You will also need some measuring spoons. So now that we have all of our ingredients and tools together, let's get cooking. The first thing you're going to want to do is measure out your olive oil and add it to your pot. It is important that you have a thin layer of olive oil at the bottom because that is going to be crucial in helping us fry up our delicious noodles. Then grab your pot and swirl it around to make sure that all of the bottom surface is covered in the oil. Once you've done that, then you are ready to turn your heat on to medium-high. Allow your oil to warm up, and once it's nice and hot, then add your fideos. You will notice that they immediately start to sizzle. So get all of your noodles in, and then grab your large fork, and you're going to start stirring your noodles around because the idea is to toast these noodles. As you stir them around, the noodles are going to develop a beautiful color because the contact with the oil and the bottom of the pan where it's nice and hot will start to toast your noodles. The stirring is very important because you want all of your noodles to be able to toast, and some will get a little darker than others, and that's perfectly fine because what you want is that multicolored, beautiful, golden look. The noodles will take about 5 minutes to brown on medium-high heat, and this is what they should look like once they are browned and ready to cook. So now, after your 5 minutes of toasting your noodles, make a well in the center, and to it, add about a tablespoon of tomato paste. Then grab your half of a banana pepper and your half of an onion and add them to your pot. You are not going to cut these up because all we want is for them to release their flavor into our noodles. Then grab your fork and give it all a good stir. You want that tomato paste to become really fragrant with the heat of the pot, so make sure you focus on that. Give it a nice swirl so that it releases its beautiful flavors. So now that you've worked that tomato paste in, it's time to grab your chicken broth. The combination of flavors is going to be absolutely delicious. So grab your chicken broth and then pour it right on top of your fideos, tomato paste, and vegetables. Just pour it all around And you'll notice that some steam is going to be released because you are pouring in room temperature chicken broth into your hot pan. So just pour it all the way around and it'll start to bubble up and to get nice and hot. So once you've added all of your chicken broth in, you are going to occasionally stir your mixture because what we're looking to do is to bring it all together, but we want to give our chicken broth a chance to boil. So be patient and just give it an occasional stir to help those yummy flavors combine, that delicious tomato paste and the flavor of that pepper and that onion. Just give it all a little bit of help with your fork and bring the flavors together. So now that all our flavors have been brought together, our chicken broth will start to boil and we just need a simmer. We don't need a very strong rapid boil. And once you notice that, it's time to cook this. And we're going to cook it similar to what we would do with a rice. We are going to put a lid on our pan and then we are going to lower our heat and we're going to bring it down to low because we want it to cook slowly and it'll cook gently, but it won't take that long. The process should take about 8 minutes, but you can lift the lid every few minutes and check on it and just give it a slight stir, just making sure that the pepper and onion are submerged so that they release their delicious flavor. And this way you are watching the liquid as it evaporates. So every few minutes, take your lid off, use your fork, give it a little bit of a stir, and check to see how much liquid is left. Like I said, the whole process shouldn't take more than about 8 minutes on low, but you do want to check it because once all of the liquid is consumed, then your Fideos Fritos should be ready. So we are almost there. We are just checking to make sure that there's still some liquid and we're stirring. And this is also a good way to make sure that our noodles are not sticking to the bottom of our pot. We have to stir every few minutes to make sure that they're consuming that yummy chicken broth and they're not sticking to the bottom. But don't forget to replace the lid after each time you check the noodles because that steam is very important to the cooking process. So now our noodles have cooked for about 8 minutes and you'll notice that the liquid is completely absorbed. That is what gives our noodles such incredible flavor. The combination of the toasted noodle with the chicken broth is absolutely delicious and it's really like nothing you've ever tasted. It's a really interesting flavor combination and everyone is going to really love this. So now the Fideos Fritos are ready and what I like to do is I use my fork to remove the onion and the pepper because I am not going to serve those. I can use these to make a sofrito for my dinner or chop them up and add them into an omelet. I can do tons of things with them. So once I've removed them, then I add my Fideos Fritos to a serving dish and then I use my fork to lightly fluffen them. I like to loosen them up a little bit because that way when you serve them, they'll be nice and separate and they are delicious. If you and your family have never tried these before, it's going to be an interesting experience. It's a very unexpected flavor profile, but it is absolutely delicious. The colors are beautiful and the flavor is incredible. So now on to my favorite part, the tasting. Let's try these. Wow. They are so tasty. It's a flavor like nothing you've ever tried. They are absolutely delicious. Wow. They remind me so much of home and my mom. I need to get another bite. They are so good. Look how fluffy they are and they're loose. They're just perfect. They came out absolutely perfect. Wow, these are so good. They are an incredible side dish and they are so different. Everyone is going to love them. They're a lot of fun and definitely more interesting than just serving a rice or potatoes. These are going to become a staple in your home. They are really so easy to make. They are perfect for any night of the week. Don't wait for a special occasion. Today is the day. They are so, so good. You'll love them. So how delicious do these look? They are an unexpected side dish that is not much more difficult than making a rice, but it is really out of the box and everyone is going to love them. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're gonna have to try to make this recipe yourself. And if you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And most importantly, remember to subscribe to my channel and touch that little notification bell so that you don't miss out on a single amazing recipe that I have planned for you. See you next time. Sally, that girl in the kitchen.